Hi everyone, it's your boy Robert here, and it is 21 June 2025, and I just got into Biccari yesterday, and my father picked me up in Forgia, and then we drove to Biccari. Now this is a very important holiday for me because I just bought myself a house in Biccari, and I am now outside of my house. So in Italy, in the old villages, sometimes the layout of the houses are very quirky because when you buy a house, you don't actually buy the whole building. You'll see this first floor here is actually used to be a basement, but that is actually now the living room of the house. And over here is actually the main entrance going upstairs. Then that floor, the second floor, and then the third floor is a part of my house. This area here, hello, is belongs to someone else. And in that area there at the top is another apartment. So very quirky. Here we have a Fendesi. This is means for sale. So this place is about 200 or 250 square meters big, and so this is the living room slash kitchen, and I like these vaulted ceilings, very beautiful. Now it is a little bit damp here because actually there is a well, and so there's actually a chamber underneath here with groundwater. And the house actually comes with this little like mobile pump. Let me put the light on there. So every now and again, I'm actually supposed to pump water out of the basement. Yes, to keep it from flooding. There's not really a lot of light coming in here, but this place comes with all this furniture, which is amazing. Some of this furniture is really good. This is solid wood here, and very, very big. And what was interesting is my agent, Angelo, he told me that there's actually about half a meter behind this wall is another wall, the original wall. So what the people actually did is they put this wall here, and this is supposed to help with the damping. So otherwise the damping will come through the original wall. But if you have this Fugazi wall, then that will stop with the damping problem. And you can see there's a little cupboard. So this is basically how, it's about a half a meter. That's how actually has the original wall behind this little cabinet. So it's been a few years since someone's lived in this house. So I got like 3 or 4 of these old school TVs, which I'm considering just throwing away. And yeah, at the moment there's no electricity, so that's why it's a little bit dark. But most of the rooms comes with this small air conditioners. Here is the first bathroom. You can call this half a bathroom. And then there's this little quirky door here. It is very small. And I'm going to go in here now because this is how you get from the living room to the bedrooms. Yeah, and it's a kind of a tight squeeze. Otherwise, you'll have to go through the other entrance. This entrance here that I showed you earlier on. So we're going to go up the stairs here now. And generally the house is in good condition. You can see there are a few areas that require a little bit of plastering. You can see there's a little bit of damping there, but nothing too serious. Just a little bit of scraping, new plaster, and then new paint, and it should be fine. And it comes with some furniture. There's another old TV here underneath here. This bathroom I like. It looks kind of new and kind of modern. So here we go. I'm gonna actually, this is I think popular in the older houses here in England, but I'm gonna get rid of these, and I'm thinking of maybe putting a shower in here, maybe a small shower. I'll see what I can do. My father is going to help me with the renovations, because there'll definitely be some changes here. This is the first balcony I'm going to show you. This is just very small. Here's the bottom, and that's the beautiful archway I showed you earlier on. That goes directly to the church, and then there's like a little view there. So I would say the biggest problem with the house at the moment is you can see the plastering is falling off here on the side. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, you know, scraping away and hitting away the loose plaster, and then replastering it with fresh cement and then painting it again. But we are thinking of maybe doing like a type of rock art that's quite popular. So I had a bit of a problem. The house is not registered on my name yet, but it's going to be registered soon. And the reason why there was a delay is that actually originally this bedroom and this bedroom was one room. But because the people built this wall, they changed the plans of the house, which didn't match with the original plans. And you can't buy or sell a house if the plans are not exactly the same. So I decided to just re-register new plans so that it makes this wall legitimate. And yeah, you can see here's a little storage area, but I'm thinking of putting some doors in here. Then this can become like a clothing cupboard of sorts, like an official clothing cupboard, instead of a random storage. You can see it's still a very old house because the glass work is kind of old. Here's a random storage area. Now we're going up to the master bedroom. So you see also here and there are a few areas where the plaster is loose. Over here, this can all just be hit away and changed pretty quickly. Behind this wallpaper is also a little bit of a plaster issue, but I was thinking of just leaving that for now and just focusing on the more urgent things. Here's a few skirtings that fell off, and this is a huge ass cupboard. This is a one-piece cupboard. I've never seen a cupboard so long before. This is not built in, so I could move this to maybe a different area. And then I don't know what is exactly over here in this corner. And this is my father. Hello!
Yeah.
Yeah. And my father's going to help me a lot with the renovations. And we both think it's a good idea to take away this, I don't know what you call this in English, second toilet or what. You can see this is the toilet. That will go, and we will turn this area into a shower. And this is probably the smallest bathtub that I have seen in my life. And then let me show you the balcony. This is a balcony. I guess it's just big enough for a few people for a barbecue. And it's got a fairly decent view of some of the countryside there. But the roof needs to be replaced. And I had a little welcoming present here. are some dead pigeons here. They somehow made it across this net and then they couldn't escape, so they died. So that's kind of sad. But so I got a lot of work here. I'll make another video to show you guys the progress after the renovations. Okay, ciao. Well, you're wondering how much this all probably cost. It was 16,000 euro for the house, 1,000 euro for the agent fee. It was 2,050 euro for the replanning because of the illegal wall. It was 900 euro to join the two title deeds. It was 150 euro for power of attorney because I can't speak Italian, and it was 2,800 euro for the lawyer fee and the tax. It was 1,500 euro for labor and materials and 600 euro for new furniture. That leaves me with 25,000 euro total. Hello again, everyone. It's your boy Robert, and this is the second part of the video that I am making about my house in Biccari. So my house is in the old historic center, just around the corner from the church. And so I have been busy with renovations of my place for about a month and a half. And I have been working my butt off every day, 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day. And my old man was helping me a lot, and now I'm gonna show you the after. So just through these arches that I showed you in the first part of the video, I'll walk, and so you can see this is my house over here. I painted this was already painted, but it was sort of fading. I painted that yellow, I painted this yellow, and I did a little bit of rock art because this plaster was peeling off. And so what's happening now, I don't know if it's just Biccari or if it's in the whole of Italy, but people are ditching traditional plaster and they're opting for this type of rock art instead. And it's easier to do, it's kind of cheaper, but it also lasts longer, because once the plaster starts cracking like that, you can see at the top, the water goes in and then it just goes to hell after a few years or a decade or what have you not. So when I was doing renovations, a lot of people in the street saw me working so hard, and they decided that they also need to do things, you know. Like these people, yeah, they installed a new door. And the old man that lives just there, where I came from, he spent a few days redoing his storage, his little storage unit. So he lives up there, but his storage unit is here. So this is not a part of my property, but yeah, it is connected to my house. And what was interesting is when I removed some of this plaster, it revealed the old house number here. So there's like a bit of history. And you know, I am not sure when this house was built, but it's definitely old, definitely more than 100 years old. So, you know, there are things in this wall, like old wires, old pipes, old pieces of wood that, you know, that'll always surprise you. So this, I'll explain to you the story about this grass later on. Regarding the doors, some of these poles were loose. I managed to anchor them all down. The windows were broken. I replaced them, and then there was a piece of aluminium that I had, which is just the perfect size to replace one of these aluminium poles, which was just missing. There were only two here. So let's go in. I mopped the place yesterday, so this is probably as clean as it's gonna get. Alright, so I cleaned in that corner there. That's pretty obvious. The previous owners wanted to take away their gas stove, so luckily my father had an old one he gave me, and I'm just going to connect that with this gas over here, because my geysers or boilers are electrical. So the only thing in the house that'll actually use gas is the stove. And you need to pay every month just for that connection. So I'm just going to try and keep costs low and just keep it as simple like this. I got a new washing machine. Like my father had one lying around. So I'm going to buy that from him. I'll have to give him some money. I installed this workspace over here. And I put silicone around. So the stove used to be in this corner. So I don't know where people used to chop their vegetables and make their bread and coffee, but at least there's now like a type of workspace. All along the walls there, the plaster was coming off, the paint was peeling off. So I plastered and painted all of that. The electricity was connected, it was just not switched on by the municipality. So we got that sorted out just like literally less than a week after the place was put on my name. And that's about it. Yeah, the old TV is out and we replaced it with a new TV. We just put it there on the wall. Lots of cleaning. I painted this door over here. Just some small touch-ups. That little window there for ventilation there at the back. And just clean the bathroom. Now, there used to be a door over here, and we removed that. We hit some of this wall out over here, and plastered it and painted it. I got this Romanian guy to help me out a bit, because my plastering skill is not that good when it comes to big sections. So, but he was like €50 a day, or half a day, or €100 a day. Yeah, so my father's idea was to put this little light up here, because there was no light here. And to show you how quirky these homes can be in Italy, there were just two wires here behind this door, and they were both live, so they weren't connected to each other. We don't know where they're coming from, we don't know where they're supposed to go, but we used one for the light, and then this one is still live. So that's crazy, you know. If one was live and one was dead, then you could definitely say, all right, they were supposed to be connected, but both of them were live. Over here we have a step that we cut. And initially I was very nervous to do that, because it sort of ruins the integrity of this stairwell. But it really was necessary in order to make it easier to get from the living room to the rest of the house. Alright, as I mentioned before, these were not actually connected on the house plans. They were not structurally connected. This stairwell was put in on a later stage. So that's just how things are here in Italy. People are like living on top of each other, and this house is there, and that room is there. And you can even buy rooms in Italy. Yeah, can you believe that? I can buy my neighbor's room and then put it in a house plan, like in a title deed. That's how crazy it is. So, okay, over here, I sort of sanded down some of this old moldy paint, and I paint over here. So that's much better now, because it was leaking. There was some water coming through the roof. But I stopped the leaking and I fixed that up. This was all green over here from just years of water. I had to high pressure hose this down. Yes, it made this place dirty, but I decided to just go for like a nice yellow. And I decided to paint this grey with the sealant that I had left over. Because over there, remember, it was very, very moldy, and plaster was falling down. So I removed that and I went for some more rock art, just like that. And I didn't want to remove all the plaster. So in order to protect the plaster, I didn't just use a normal paint, but I actually used this sealant. I hope that was not a mistake. I cleaned all the doors and windows. I had to clean them several times because they were like slightly stained. Yeah, then I just made up the beds, washed the sheets. Place came with all the sheets and the bedding things. And it came with iron, pots, pans. This house basically came fully furnished. I varnished this table that my father organized me from somewhere. Someone just wanted to throw it out. Actually, I didn't want 2 beds in here. But because I joined the 2 title deeds, there was supposed to be an inspector to come and inspect the house. Now, in order to maximize the residency, I put 2 beds in this room, and obviously I kept this the same. This is okay, so that I could get residency for 6 people instead of 5. You know, because I've never done this inspection before, so I don't know what they're actually looking for. The guy hasn't come yet, but they said, nah, there's also a chance that they might not come, whatever. And this is quite interesting. So this is like a shutter, a window, which is obviously an old window, anti-insect like window, door, and then another window. So there's like 4 things over here. And then I just painted that. That wasn't painted over here, so I just painted it, gave it a nice clean. Yeah. And I did some touch-ups on the doors that were chipped here and there a little bit. In this room over here, this is where I would say we needed to do a lot of the work, because all over here the plaster was falling off, but we removed all the weak plaster. We plastered it properly. I painted it and I fixed those cornices. I don't know if you can call it that. Yeah, and I painted that. And so I decided to leave some of the walls still pink because I didn't really have enough paint. And I thought it would be interesting to just leave some of the walls pink that are not damaged, and it's also just like less work. But I'm not replacing any of the furniture. I'm just keeping it basic like this, because the idea is just to rent this house out and make some money. Now, I should get about €450 a month, which is not too bad. And then just pay my 25% tax if they do register the contract by the municipality or the government or whatever it is. Yes, we put a shower actually in this bathroom. There was a buvette. And yeah, we just got this over here. My father built this. So there was a lot of dust here that we had to clean up afterwards. Yeah, also just painted this window over here. Okay, it's not for the biggest of people. Just kept this the same. Put a German system in here, which is not as good, which is much better than the Italian one. But we're not taking this out for now. We're just leaving that there. Let me just quickly go back downstairs to show you the other bathroom. I forgot to show you that one. Oh my word. Yeah, I was running up and down these stairs like a crazy horse, day in and day out. All right, so yeah, this is the other bathroom. So this tap was originally seized up. Not this tap, there was a different tap here. And the tap on that buvette, the buvette that was here, that was also seized up. We thought that maybe the water was connected to another line, but it just seems that they were seized up. So obviously we threw the buvette away, but we had to replace this tap. And yeah, you can see the shower. It is a tiny shower for like a tiny house. So not everyone can shower here. This is for like average sized people. But we thought it was necessary because There was no bath or shower, yeah. So if someone wants to bath or shower, they have to walk through the master bedroom, and that's not cool. So at least now there's a shower, yeah. So if people have at least children or like skinny teenagers or small adults like visiting them or living here with them, then they won't bother the master bedroom as much, which is a good thing, you know. Okay, so this is where I also did a lot of the work, was outside. Yeah, I remember these 4 dead pigeons that were here. Oh, that was a nightmare. But I managed to clean all this dove poop, and I painted this wall over here. We replaced that light with a LED light. I cleaned the geyser works fine, everything works fine. I put some varnish on that little window frame there, put some paint down there. Now, to stop the leaking on the roof to the bedroom downstairs, I put 3 layers of sealant, 2 grey layers and 1 green one. So if water does get in here and goes through this plastic grass, it will drain away and it won't seep through. And yes, the roof, replaced the fiberglass roof. Threw that fiberglass away that was shredded. I painted this frame with green oxide, and we just put this was the best I could get. I wanted transparency roof, but the normal fiberglass only lasts 2 years or 3 years, and that's no good. This plastic lasts 10 years, so I think that was a better choice to go for. Okay, so I just climbed my neighbor's roof. It's like made from these tiles, just like normal traditional tiles. Not very good, because she showed me her house the other day inside, and it was moldy. The roof was moldy. Anyway, look at that view. It's pretty hot today. It's like 30 something degrees Celsius. And all right, so this is the back side of my house. I paid the Romanian guy Dimitri and his brother-in-law 100 euro each to plaster this whole section, because this plaster was falling off. It was really bad. So we got a lot of concrete and we just plastered it, and then they used the special sealant. I forgot what he called it, but it's like a concrete mixed with plastic particles, and that's quite sticky. But on top of that, I put another layer of grey sealant. I put 2 layers of sealant on top of my roof. So the roof was slightly rusty, but I just put that plastic sealant on there, 2 layers, and then on this side a layer of sealant, and then that cement plastic sealant. And then the same on the other side. On top of my sealant, they put that plastic cement sealant. So yeah, I actually make a joke. I call this the Lego house, because it's just pretty much covered in plastic. But the good news is I don't think water is gonna come through here for at least 8 to 10 years. That's what ChatGPT told me. I've got 2 layers of plastic, and that's what it's all about, you know. It's just about taking care of my house and doing my best. It seems like it's not really a lot of jobs that I did for a month and a half, but yeah, it was a lot of work. But everything is done now, and hopefully now I can start going to the beach and enjoying my holiday. Anyway, everyone, that's it for me. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.